Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this tutorial on the application process for the removal of the name of a deceased joint proprietor from the register. As the title suggests, this process is only eligible to jointly owned parcels and involves the deletion of the name of one of the joint proprietors from the register upon their demise. The deletion of the same can only be effected upon the proof of death of said proprietor. This application is initiated by a practicing advocate on behalf of the surviving proprietor or proprietors, both of whom must be registered on the ArdhiSasa platform. To begin with, you log into the platform. Key in your ArdhiSasa ID or national ID number, enter your password, and then click Continue. Upon doing so, you'll be provided with a one-time password code, an OTP, which will be sent to the phone number you used to register with on the platform. Once you have received the OTP, type the code onto the OTP prompt box and then click Log In. You'll then be navigated to the dashboard, where you'll find a number of services listed under the departments we have in the Ministry of Lands and Physical Planning. As an advocate, when you first log in, the account you're logged in as is your private account. For you to initiate this process, you will need to switch to your advocate account, so you do so by clicking on the profile icon. It will display a drop-down menu with the professional account which has been approved for you as an advocate. Switch to your advocate account and you'll be able to proceed with the process. For more information on how to upgrade to a professional account, check out our YouTube video through the link featured in the video description. The process we are undertaking is under land registration, so navigate to the land registration section and click View More, and you'll find the application listed under the services offered in this department. Upon clicking on it, you'll be navigated to the applications page, and here, there are a number of tabs provided. We have 5 tabs, namely Pending, Ongoing, Completed, Rejected, and Cancelled. All the applications that you have initiated as an advocate will be listed among the tabs provided, depending on the level of your application. The Pending tab is for the application that you have initiated as an advocate but have not completed. It or they still need some action from your side or from the parties involved in the application. The Ongoing tab features applications which you have submitted as an advocate, but it's up to the ministry's side through the relevant officials to process the application. The Completed tab is for applications which have been approved by the relevant ministry officials. The Rejected tab is for applications that have been rejected by the ministry officials for one reason or another. The reasons will be communicated to you on the application. The Cancel tab is for applications which have been cancelled by the different parties involved in the application process. For you to initiate this application, you will click on the New Application tab on the top right-hand corner. You'll then be navigated to a page with FAQs, which is the frequently asked questions related to this process. You can go ahead and explore the FAQs to get some of the terminologies used. When you are satisfied with the FAQs, you can proceed and click on Next. The next section is the proprietorship details. Here you'll first be required to enter the parcel number. So kindly key it in the format registry/block and then the block number with no space in between / the parcel number. You'll also need to enter the ArdhiSasa ID of the surviving proprietor or proprietors, so kindly do so and then click on Search. A pop-up box will appear requiring you to select the category of person to execute as the surviving proprietor or proprietors. It can either be the mentioned executing on his or her own behalf or an attorney executing on behalf of the proprietor. If you choose the attorney option, you'll key in the power of attorney entry number in the format registry/the entry number / the month of registration / the year of registration, and then click on Search. And the power of attorney entry number will be listed underneath the search bar along with his or her ArdhiSasa ID. If the ArdhiSasa ID does not feature, it means the attorney is not registered on ArdhiSasa, and thus you'll be required to enter the ArdhiSasa ID of said attorney and then click on Save. Alternatively, you can choose the self option instead, as will be the case in this, and then click on the Save button. Upon doing so, the name of the proprietor, as well as the person executing on behalf of the proprietor, will be listed. You'll then be required to select the ArdhiSasa registration status of the deceased proprietor. That is, whether he or she was registered on the platform or not. If the latter is true, you'll select the second option, where you'll key in the name of the deceased person, then select the identification type, then enter the ArdhiSasa ID or passport number of the deceased and click on the Add button. If the deceased was registered on ArdhiSasa, you'll select the first option, where you'll enter the ArdhiSasa ID of the deceased and then click on the Search button, and the details of the deceased will be listed alongside the search bar. In our case, the deceased proprietor was not registered on ArdhiSasa, and thus we'll enter the required details and then click on the Add button. Upon doing so, the details of the deceased proprietor will be listed on the right side of your screen. You'll then move on to the law firm details, where you'll need to provide the details of the law firm that you are acting under. Here, you have the option of tying the application to a registered law firm on ArdhiSasa, where you'll be required to type in the ArdhiSasa ID of the law firm and then click on Search. And the law firm details will automatically be populated. However, in our case, you'll be manually keying in the law firm details. To begin with, you'll provide the name of the law firm, also provide the physical address of the law firm, provide the postal address of the law firm. You'll enter the phone number of the law firm. You'll also enter the email address of the law firm. As far as the website as well as the street address of the law firm are concerned, they are not mandatory fields to fill. However, you can provide the information required if applicable. You can then go ahead and click on Next, and you'll be navigated to the Documents page where you'll need to upload a scanned certified copy of the death certificate of the deceased proprietor. So go ahead and click on Choose File, and you'll be navigated to your local machine or device whereby you'll upload the document that you have prepared, and the document will be listed against the Choose File button. If you have any additional documents which you feel will support this process, you have the option of providing those documents. If you're satisfied with the documents you have submitted to facilitate the application process, you can proceed and click on Next. The last step is the confirmation step with all the details that you have provided. So scroll through the entire page and go through the details. If satisfied, you can go ahead and click on Submit. You also have the option of going back if you need to edit any information. For this case, we'll proceed and click on Submit. Upon doing so, you'll be prompted to approve whether you indeed want to submit the request, and then proceed and click Yes. You then get a confirmation message on a pop-up box which affirms that the application has been submitted successfully, and then click on Close. After you have submitted your application, the next step is for the party involved, that is the surviving proprietor or proprietors, to consent to the application. A notification will be sent on SMS as well as on email communicating the same. A key thing to note is that you can view the progress level of your application on the progress bar, as is featured on the upper section of your screen upon submission of your application. After the application verification section, we have the execution section, where you accept whether to represent the party listed. If you choose to accept to represent the party involved, you will click on Accept. And if you're not representing any of the parties involved, you can proceed and click on Reject. And he or she will get a notification that they have no representation, and thus will have an option of adding another advocate to represent. So in our case, we'll choose to accept to represent the party involved. Once you have accepted to execute on this, you can proceed and append your signature. However, in our case, the advocate will hold out on appending his or her signature until the surviving proprietor or proprietors has verified and signed on the application. It is key to note that the advocate must be in communication with the party or parties involved throughout the verification process for ease of operations. As such, once the involved party has logged in, he or she will navigate to the notification bell on the top right corner of the screen and check for the notification prompting him or her to verify the application. An OTP prompt box will be displayed with a Get OTP button alongside it. If he or she does not approve this process, a Cancel Application button will be displayed on the top right corner of the screen, and he or she can then click on it and the process will be cancelled. However, if the individual is aware of the process and approves of it, he or she will then click on the Get OTP button, and an OTP code will be sent to the phone number that he or she used during registration. A key thing to note is that below the OTP prompt box, there is an important disclaimer for the party involved. It instructs him or her to enter the OTP code if he or she authorizes the application made on his or her own behalf by the advocate involved in the process. After receiving the OTP code, the individual will key in the exact code received onto the OTP prompt box and then click on the Verify button. Upon doing so, a pop-up box will appear affirming that the OTP has been successfully verified, so he or she will go ahead and click on Close. Below the OTP verification section, there is the Execution section. Here, the party verifying this application can change the advocate representing him or her if the initial advocate rejected representation. Upon clicking on the Change button, the individual will then enter the ArdhiSasa ID of the new advocate to represent him or her and then click on the Change Advocate button below. That advocate will then get a notification prompting him or her to accept representation. The individual will then navigate to the Add Signature section, where he or she will be required to append their signature. There are a number of options on how to append your signature. To begin with, there is this signing area here, as you can see, which allows you to sign with your computer mouse if you're using a desktop or a laptop, and alternatively with a stylus pen or your index finger if you're using a phone or tablet to access the platform. You also have the other option of signing with another device. When you click on this option, a pop-up box will appear displaying 4 alternative options for signing. For more information on the available signing options on ArdhiSasa, kindly view our YouTube tutorial explaining the same through the link featured in the video description. In this case, the proprietor will sign on the signing area. He or she will place the mouse cursor on the blank space, press and hold the left click button, and then go ahead and append the signature. If satisfied, he or she can click on Save. However, if not pleased with it, there's the option of removing it by clicking on Clear and then appending the signature once again to their liking. If satisfied with it, he or she will click on Save. There's a pop-up notification that will appear requiring the affirmation of the submission of the signature, and then click on Yes. As mentioned earlier, the advocate and the surviving proprietor or proprietors are in active communication during the verification process. As such, once the party involved has done his or her bit, the advocate will be notified and he or she will navigate to the application status page and refresh it. So once the surviving proprietor or proprietors has consented, for you as an advocate on your screen under the application verification section, you'll see the status on verification by the involved party under the OTP status, and you'll also see the signature status as well. And in our case, the proprietor has both verified and signed. As you can recall, the advocate held out on signing earlier until the proprietor had verified and signed on the application. With that done, you can go ahead and append your signature. You can either sign on the signing pad area using your mouse and click on Save. The second option is signing with another device using the 4 aforementioned options. So proceed and append your signature and then click Save. There's a pop-up notification that will appear requiring you to affirm that you want to submit this as your signature. Click on Yes. In doing so, you'll have completed the application up to the point of accepting execution and the party involved consenting to the application. In order to see out your role as an advocate in this process and submit the application request, you will duly be required to surrender the current title. At this point, a ticket and an invite will have automatically been created by the system in order to enable you to surrender the title. So go ahead and navigate to the My Appointments tab on the left panel of your screen, and you'll see the invite that has been created. Click on View, and you'll be able to book an appointment on the calendar to your right. Select on the date that you'd like to surrender the title, and also select the time, and click on Submit. A pop-up will appear requiring you to confirm whether you want to set the appointment, and then click on Yes. The invitation will then transition to the Upcoming Appointments tab. Click on the View button, and you'll be able to generate a gate pass which you'll present at the gate in your quest to surrender the title. For more information on ticketing and appointments in general, click on the featured link in the video description to view our tutorial on it. You also have the option of rescheduling if the date you previously selected is not convenient to you. You can choose the new date and time and then click on Reschedule. So once all the parties have signed and the original title has been surrendered, the Submit Request option will be active, and once you click on it, the application will transition to the Land Registration Department for processing and approval. Once it has been approved, you'll be issued with a new title, one which will reflect the change made in name as well as the ownership type. That's it for this tutorial on the removal of the name of a deceased joint proprietor from the register. Feel free to give feedback on this tutorial in the comment section below. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the bell button alongside the subscribe button to get notifications on new videos as and when we post them. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.